Good morning, Delaware. We are happy to be here on this summer morning. I think
rainy summer
rainy.
morning.
Is it summer? But I think it's officially summer. I think it is because my children are out of school. I think all schools are out at this point.
Yes.
Or they're getting there.
My wardrobe says fall, though.
My sweatshirt, my wool sweatshirt that I put on earlier this week said, not quite, Nicole.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Off the Shelf. We have a very special guest with us this morning. It is Prosecutor Melissa Schiffel. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are going to talk about the 4th annual Schiffel's Safety Scholars that we have going on in partnership with the Library Summer Reading Club this year. And we just can't wait to tell you what all is in store this year with animals and drawings and books and so many
exciting.
things.
It's my favorite time of year.
Exactly. And good morning, Molly. You
Good
survived.
morning, Nicole. I did.
You are going through all of the spring blossoming gunk that I went through about 2 months ago.
I love allergies. It's fun to be allergic to everything that grows and loving outside.
Congratulations. Oh my gosh, the cottonwood or the dogwood, the thing where you see the white fluffs going in the air.
I just turned the other way.
Yeah.
No.
I want a mask. I want like a gas mask, to just be like, I think this is how I'll survive spring.
Yeah. I feel like the weatherman needs to be like, go outside today. Don't go outside today. That's all I need.
It's a yes. It's an all in or all out. Exactly.
I have been following. They do that on the weather app, the Weather Channel app, and every single day it's been like allergies high, allergies high, and
pollen
I'm like,
count red.
Maybe I should just hide in here and never leave. But the cat I'm allergic to.
Right. Exactly. We'll all be on immunotherapies by the end. It doesn't matter anyway. All right. Well, we'll get started as we normally do, talking about our favorite thing. Books.
I love talking about books, and I got a good one today.
Tell us about it.
Okay, I've got a book called Women of Good Fortune. This is by Sophie Wan, and the way I'm describing this book, this is Ocean's 11 meets Crazy Rich Asians meets Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. So, this is a fantastic read. This is 4 friends. They've been friends for quite some time. One of them is proposed to by the most eligible bachelor in all of Shanghai.
Awesome.
And so now there's going to be this huge wedding. The problem is she's not really sure she's in love with him, but her family expects her to do this. Well, her other friend, Jane, is married, but Jane believes she's ugly and she needs to have work done so that she can be beautiful. Another friend believes that she does not need men in her life. She is going to be a successful woman, and she is so tired of being held back. All these friends come with these different issues. One wants to open a business. Well, when the proposal comes, the friends get together at their favorite hot pot restaurant and decide, you know what? We're going to get red envelopes filled with money on this wedding day. Let's have a heist.
Oh.
And this is where Ocean's 11s come in. So this is an extravagant Shanghai wedding. This is the Crazy Rich Asians, all these insane things going on. And they start trying to figure out how they are going to steal and then split all of this money and escape to their new lives. And it's the friendships that you love. It is totally the Ocean 11. Like, are you going to pull this off? I think you're going to pull this off. This sounds insane. This is fiction, Molly. Stop believing everything you read.
Right.
I got lost in this book. This is the perfect summer read, everybody. Again, Women of Good Fortune, Sophie Wan. Absolutely must read this one. I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to give the clues. You're trying to solve this as it goes. You're trying to figure out if they're going to do it or not. It's absolutely brilliant. The characters they bring in, I'm really hoping for a movie out of this one.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. I have a question for you, Prosecutor Schiffel.
Yes.
If you're reading a mystery, and I know what my answer is, but when you're reading a mystery, do you like to try and solve it as you go along, or are you along for the ride, especially in your field of work?
Oh, yeah. I'm along for the ride, and I love a great mystery crime novel like Agatha Christie's my jam, all the way to Patricia Cornwell, two of my favorites that I've read. But I'm along for the ride. Now, when I was younger, I would skip to the end.
Oh, yeah.
And try and figure it out. But
Right.
nope, I'm along for the ride now.
Yeah, I want to try and see if I have like an intuition about a character, but it's almost always wrong. I want to
Same.
see if I'm picking up on the clues, but I'm usually not. I want to think I'm following the right path, but it's typically the red herring, you know? So I have to be along for the ride because I'm always wrong.
Yeah, I could not be a police officer or a detective. I clearly know that from reading crime
In
novels.
your line of work, you already get all the facts. So, yeah, it's your job to put them together.
Yep. Yes. I like
Have you been reading anything lately?
So I'm reading an older book, and when I say I'm reading, it is taking me like 9-12 months to get through it because as a mom,
There's no judgment.
You seize those moments when you can read. But it's actually a Christian book called Having a Mary Heart in a Martha World.
I know this book.
Yeah, early 2000s, published by Joanna Weaver. And let me tell you, it is just an uplifting story. Obviously, there's biblical background to it, but it really is uplifting in reminding us to like see everything in the world as a blessing, even the mundane things we do, especially as women, as moms, that just seem routine. And so I've really enjoyed it, and I'm almost finished.
Yeah. Can you give a little context of the Mary and Martha story?
Yeah, so they are two sisters, and they're sisters with Lazarus, if you're familiar with that story in the Bible, but they are also, Jesus visits them, and Martha is worried about tidying up the house, making sure the food is all together, and that it's just a beautiful time for Jesus to visit them. Whereas Mary sits at the feet of Jesus and listens to him as he talks about, his views. That's not the right way to say that, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right.
And so at that point in their interaction, Jesus stops and asks Martha quite pointedly, and telling her to basically sit at his feet and listen, and that is what is most important, not preparing the food,
Right.
that the guests are okay and that the house is clean and all of that.
Right. And then we all, that's such a relatable story too, where we all feel like, no, the house has to be perfect.
Yes.
Everything has to be ready. I don't have enough, dishes, or I don't have enough, I haven't lit the candles, all of the things.
Yeah. And I even found myself like, when you have guests over, like family for Easter, who don't care if your dishes are piled up in the sink.
Right.
It's like, I still feel like I need to go wash those dishes. But no, I'm going to sit down and focus on what's important.
Yeah, it's a nice shift. That's a nice book. Having a Mary Heart in a Martha World. I have a fun book that you don't think would be fun by the title. It's called The Boring Book.
Ooh.
And it is a picture book. It is written by Adam Ciccio. It seems Italian. Ciccio. And it's illustrated by Barbara Bongini. I think they're both Italian. That's how I'm going to go with it.
The way you pronounce them, they are now.
Yeah, they are
I do like that.
It's called The Boring Book, and it's a part of a series called Healthy Minds, and this one in particular is about ADHD. And it's about a little girl who is doing all of the day-to-day things that have to happen to make life happen.
Yes.
And she begins the book by saying that she has a very serious warning that this book is boring, like super boring, like you should probably just put it down because it's not going to have exciting things in it, like brushing your teeth. You have to do it twice a day. But don't brush your friends' teeth, know, because that's not fun.
Do not.
Good advice. Good advice.
And don't brush your dog's teeth either, and especially not with your toothbrush,
Yeah.
And so everything.
These are lessons we can only learn by making mistakes.
Exactly. And, other boring things in this book is making your bed, but don't bounce on your bed while you're making your bed. That is the opposite of making your bed,
I have to say that illustration, I know our listeners can't see it, but that little girl is totally me at that age. Like red hair, braids, she's got brown eyes. I must say she's adorable.
Right. So there's a lot of relatability in this book, depending on you and your childhood and your activities and all the boring things that you do.
Living with somebody with ADHD,
yes.
It is not boring
No,
ever.
Well,
and we always end up laughing about it.
And where we are learning with this and where we get to the end, and this is probably one of the best examples that I have ever seen of this. A lot of times there are people who are full of many degrees and many doctorates and things like that, and they maybe have a really successful, counseling business, and they say, I can write a picture book, and then they write a picture book and it stinks. Because it just is too pedagogical or it's too many words or things like that. This one is just right. And by the time that you get to the end, you realize that for a child with ADHD, the boring things are awful, but there are ways to make them fun and still happen. And that's what the author, Adam, I'm going to say Ciccio, is trying to tell us, is that he examines the daily obstacles in the mental health of young children. And so through a familiar story with helpful tips, we can see what can make an ADHD mind get through those boring tasks to make them just a little bit more entertaining. How do we focus on something that's boring and change that mindset of the things that you have to do to add a little bit of fun and a little bit of play into them to make them just a little less terrible? So the boring book, written by Adam Ciccio and illustrated by Barbara Bongini, is my recommendation for the day. I had a less fun one, but I felt like we were going fun today. So next week we'll go less fun.
Less fun.
I wonder if that would get me to make my bed. I'm not a bed maker.
Well, maybe if you jump on your bed a little bit, or sometimes music is really motivating for me. I find that's helpful too. If I have a really good song and I can kind of dance while I'm doing something. I have to admit,
that's my husband's chore. We made the rule, and I did knowingly do this. Whoever got out of bed second. And I always will win this one.
Yes.
Genius.
So whoever is the last one out of bed has to make it.
Right.
I don't think I've made that bed in years.
Yeah,
Love it. Good.
We have always found in our household that play gets things done faster than order or demand. If we say put your shoes on, that's not fun. Nobody wants to do that. But if we get the shoes and walk them over and give them a little personification and say will you put me on your foot, please? Then it gets the job done because it makes it fun. And though that's exhausting as a parent, it actually can make things happen faster than the fight that happens otherwise.
It also makes those great memories.
Yeah.
One day they may tell the story of when my shoes used to walk to me,
Right.
Guarantee they'll do that with their kids too. I find myself doing things like that my parents did with me, with my daughter. I'm like, okay, I am my parents.
Right. Well, I had a standoff with my daughter one night, and she had, just barricaded herself in her room, and I was trying to find the silly, which is hard to do in those situations. And I got one of her stuffies, and I kind of shoved it under the crack of the door, and I was like, "Hello, will you open the door now?" And my daughter still remembers that moment to this day. She doesn't remember the standoff, which was frustrating, but she does remember the fun. So that's just a little lesson that I would recommend. I don't get there often, but when I can get there, it's really helpful.
Is the Healthy Minds a series?
Yes. So this author, he has several other ones as well. In the series Healthy Minds, he examines the daily obstacles in mental health. So he does go through other mental health kind of obstacles that children will go through. And I can look up some of the other ones that he journeys into over the break and go back into it. So yeah. With that, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other half talking with Prosecutor Melissa Schiffel about Schiffel's Safety Scholars. Stay tuned.
Proud to be Baby Yoda's favorite radio station.
Listen to us, you will, and happy you will be.
On the new My 96.7.
Weather bug forecast for today, cloudy and rainy. More rain this morning, drying out a little bit this afternoon. Still some off and on drizzle, about 64. The eventual high right now an even 60 at the Delaware County Courthouse. Back to Off the Shelf on My 96.7.
Welcome back. We are excited to be here with Prosecutor Melissa Schiffel. Good morning.
Good morning.
Over the break, we were diving into some more of the Adam Ciccio books about all of the different ones in the Healthy Mind series. And we've got Anxious Andy talking about anxiety. We've got another one called, what was it called? Goodbye Balloon, talking about loss, your very own self, talking about self-esteem. So if you're looking for, some good healthy minds reading this summer for your littles, this is a good one.
It's a good reminder, too. Something happens. That's what the library's here for.
Absolutely.
You come in. We have professionals on the desk. We're happy to help you find books to help you cope with whatever is going on in your lives.
And we
or start the conversation.
Yeah, and we can't can promise silly voices too.
Yes.
And especially if you come to the Delaware Main Library, Mr. George is full of them as well.
Yes, he is. I love Mr. George.
All of our summer reading club, our youth services librarians have been making the rounds talking about summer reading club. And with that, they're also talking about Schiffel's Safety Scholars. This is our 4th year.
I know. It's so exciting. And we were thinking about when did it start? And I'm like, I think we started during COVID.
Right.
And just the partnerships that we've been able to build. We're so thankful for the library and being able to help and reach kids that way.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what goes into. How does one become a safety scholar?
Yeah, and so I think the easiest thing is to tell you kind of why we're doing it.
Right.
And, I have a daughter. She's going to be 10 here in a couple weeks. So when we started, she was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And, as a prosecutor, I'm always seeing young child victims, but I'm also always cautious and thinking about, well, how can we educate and help prevent things in the future? And one of the things I even struggle as a mom, knowing all of these things, is how do I talk to my kid about important things like self-esteem,
right,
or like bullying or drugs? And so I thought the easiest thing to do is just to get a book and to read it together because we love to read.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of was the inspiration. And so what we do is we partner with the libraries and some libraries and even the Unity Community Center. We will provide them with safety-themed books. And if you read them, you get a token or a prize at the end, sponsored by the office. And then we also have 2 contests that we sponsor for some of our older kids who may not want to read Chicken Clicking because it's a picture book or something like that. So, yeah, it's and that's what we do all summer long.
Right. So, I mean, safety can encompass a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
I think about, safety when you're riding a bike, but you're also talking about some bigger picture things. What are some of the other issues that you're talking about?
Yeah, so we always have a book that's focused on drug and alcohol prevention for our kids and explaining to them in a childlike way why that's not appropriate or good for them, especially at the age that they're at. And through our contests, we've even had students write books for us and illustrate them to talk about the dangers of drugs and alcohol for kids. And then we give those books out. We publish them and provide those books too because it's kids speaking to kids, and they say it in such a good way. But we also talk about body autonomy and consent in some of the books that we give so that everyone, is aware that their body is their body and what's appropriate and not. And then I talked about drugs. We also have a mental health component that we try and do. But the big one for me is internet safety because our kids are just surrounded by internet and there are so many dangers online.
Yeah.
And just even teaching them and maybe even teaching a few parents what are good practices as we help our kids navigate the internet.
Yeah.
And books are a great way for parents and children to talk about these things.
Yes.
Like as a parent, you may not know how to have that conversation,
Yep.
but these books are reviewed, they are suggested. They're a great way to enter that world that you may be uncomfortable talking about.
Yeah, and we always want to provide parents the avenue. Obviously, it's up to the parents how they want to talk to their kids and what they want to talk about, but books is the starting point. You can sit down, read it yourself as a parent and be like, yep, this is something I want to talk to my kid about or not, and then move forward that way. But the book really is also another way for me to not lecture my child, right? 'Cause she's
Right. Yeah.
not going to respond to a lecture from lawyer mommy, right? She's going to respond to reading a picture book that tells her, yeah, we're not getting online and meeting people and buying things on Amazon. So
Right.
And having had these discussions, if something comes up, kids are so much more comfortable talking to their parents that they won't get in trouble because you've had these topics come up before and it helps open that door. I, always felt really lucky. My mom read with us.
Yeah.
And so it just opened that door of conversation.
Yep. And that's all we want to do for our families.
Yeah. Let's start with the littlest. So you will be coming to the library for 4 special story times this summer. You'll find them on our online calendar. They're our preschool story times with a special guest. And our first one is coming up June 27th at Delaware. Then we've got July 8th at Liberty, July 17th at Orange, and July 24th at Ostrander. Those are all available online on DelawareLibrary.org. So during those story times, what can kiddos expect when you come and visit?
So the story time is, built around what the library has already established because you guys have amazing story times. It gives me the opportunity to be a little goofy too, get those little egg shakers out and dance around with the kids or the colorful scarves. I will not sing. You don't want to hear me sing. That nobody wants to hear that. But then usually the library will have picked out a book for me to read, and then we just sit down and read together. And we always have a furry friend with us. We have someone new this year that I'm so excited about this.
Can we announce her?
Oh,
Can
yes,
we announce
please.
her debut?
Yeah.
Okay. We are bringing with us this summer Miss Emmy.
Yes.
She is a bull mastiff.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, an English mastiff. Thank you. Yes. And I was like, correct me. I don't know my dogs. The big ones.
They're the gentle giants.
And her mama is Miss Brandy, who is here in the office with us today. And she is, would you say 19 months old? But she's a certified therapy dog. She made it.
She
She passed.
we're so lucky to have Emmy and Brandy. Brandy is our public information officer. But
You
really,
come along.
I mean, the story behind Emmy and Brandy is like, Brandy, as our public information officer, she sees everything that goes on in the office, and she saw such a need and has a heart for victims that she thought, and our staff too,
Right.
that if she was able to bring a therapy dog to the office, that it would help. And let me tell you, it does help.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing like getting like a good ear rub on Emmy or just, scratching her belly. And so she's been with us. How long now, Brandy? 6 months?
She got
So
certified in
3
March.
months. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so she's going to be coming with us to the library visits. And, I love doing the library visits, but the kids love the animals the most.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
I'm excited for them.
Yeah.
Well, and I have to admit, I was scared of dogs until one of my best friends raised mastiffs. And you meet a mastiff, and you're like, okay, dogs are okay. Okay, I'm
Yep.
just gonna lay here on this mastiff, and we're gonna be best friends forever. And it truly happens.
Emmy
So-
does think she's a lap dog. So,
Oh, they
yes.
do.
Which
And
is
you
fine with
let
me.
them. You
Yes,
can't
absolutely.
not with those little faces.
Yep.
Those little big faces. They're huge faces. They love it.
And that's one of the nice things too is that our story times are open to anyone. They can come, they can have this experience. Emmy's going to be there, Prosecutor Schiffel's going to be there, and so it'll be a really fun time. Then let's move on to the slightly older kids. There is a book writing contest.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. You can pick up all of these forms, by the way, at the Delaware County District Library and any Delaware County library.
Yeah.
But tell us about the book writing contest.
Yeah, so this is geared for our older kids, 5th grade and up, and we just asked them to write a safety-themed book for us, and then at the end of the year, the office reads the books, or excuse me, the end of summer, the office reads the books, and we select a winner, and then we publish that book, and we provide a book signing event at Beanbag Books, I can't say that word, in downtown Delaware to make them feel extra special for going above and beyond.
Right.
And last year, our winner, some of her teachers even came along with her family to celebrate. So it's always a fun event.
And then is it kids even older than that or younger than that for the billboard contest?
Yep. So we have a billboard contest that's geared for kids, middle school, high school can participate in it. And this year the billboard will be on 3637.
Oh, great.
In
Wonderful.
the month of September. So you can't miss it. And man, the designs and themes that kids are able to come up with these days, it's just mind blowing to me. I can't even draw a stick figure. So.
This is just a really great way to get kids involved in thinking about some of these topics that I don't think they would normally think about. Getting parents engaged as well to help them kind of, say, well, what could you do if you encountered a situation like this? And what could you do if a friend told you that they were going through something like this? And I think that's really what Schiffel's Safety Scholars excels at, is starting the conversation.
Yep, that's our goal. And, just another example we have, we're not doing it this year, but we do have a gun safety book that we do so that if a child stumbles across a gun in a park or something. What
Yeah.
do you do?
Oh
You
my
don't touch
gosh,
it. Some of those
right.
conversations we don't think about as parents, but
Oh no, I
Yeah.
would think about it in my home, but I would never think about it like in the wild.
right. Yes.
But
Yep.
I'm sure that happens. You would only bring it up if you knew from experience. I feel like you've seen a thing or two in your day, prosecutor.
Just a few.
Well, we're so happy to continue this partnership. It's a really beautiful thing. We're so happy to have you on with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to get into talking about some of the events that are coming up because as of June 1st, we are at the official start of
Officially there.
Summer Reading Club.
It's our favorite time of year.
It is our favorite time of year. So Summer Reading Club is super easy. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to
No.
log in.
Nope.
All you have to do is just write down somewhere that you've read something.
Yes.
And maybe put down the time.
Yes. And we're not picky what you read. If you like to read the back of cereal boxes, if you like to have your mom read the newspaper out loud to you, I am
Sure.
repeating my own childhood. If it is listening to your sister read whatever your sister's reading, all that counts. Just track how long it took.
And audiobooks, too.
Audiobooks.
We always say audiobooks, comic books, graphic novels. You know, if you're on a family vacation and mom has an audiobook on in the car and the whole car has to listen to it, that's also my experience.
And don't tell the kids, but research says that helps increase your reading. It lets you hear vocabulary. It helps you hear fluency of words being said together. All of that counts. So if you think audiobooks don't count, come let me change your mind.
That's
I
right.
am a huge fan of audiobooks.
Yeah, so kids up to 13 can earn a 6-hour prize. They're going to track their minutes. They can earn a 6-hour prize when they reach that, and then they can earn a 12-hour prize when they reach that. The 12-hour prize is a book for them to keep forever and ever. And all of our prizes and even our summer programming is sponsored by our friends at the library this year.
They are amazing.
So it's
They
just
are.
so incredible. They also got some extra grants through the Delaware County Foundation, the Polaris Fund, the Robert Weiler Family Fund. We were just so grateful for their complete funding of our Summer Reading Club this year. So let's talk about some of the upcoming programs, Molly.
I am really excited because we have Joni Callum coming to several of our branches. She is doing We Need All the Crowns in Our Crown Box.
Crayons.
She sings, did I say crayons?
You said crowns.
Appalachian
Crowns,
came out. Sorry, everybody. She sings, she tells stories, fun games. You guys stop laughing. When the
Crowns,
Appalachian
crayons.
comes out, it comes out, okay?
I just did a little translation. It's
I
fine.
know. Just please continue doing that for the listeners. She is fun. She is funny. So we've got her coming to Ostrander 5:30 to 6:30 on Tuesday, June 3rd. Then we'll see her again on Wednesday, June 4th at the Delaware branch from 5:30 to 6:30.
Yeah, she does. She has a nice kind of like folksy storytelling song.
You know, I think
Vibe.
we've lost storytelling
So
in our society, and I think this is a great chance to kind of relive that. See,
Yes.
your kids will love it. You may not think they will, but when you bring them and see interactive storytelling, they light up. Childhood is made for this.
Yeah. And we're really kicking off with a lot of music because then on Thursday, you can bop over to the Liberty Branch Library at 5:30, and the Central Ohio Symphony is bringing their brass quintet, and they're doing a concert on the Learning Stairs. So that one's going to be fun. The Learning Stairs are built in, so you don't have to bring anything to sit on unless you want a little cushion for your tushin. And then you can have a snack, and the Central Ohio Symphony will play music for you. They're coming to several other events this summer. Our Orange Branch, they'll be outside in the Harmony Garden, so bring a chair to that
Yes.
one. And I think our Delaware branch or Ostrander, I'll double check. And that's a good time. But yeah, we've got.
And let me
We've
shout
got that
out
one.
something new we've got coming up.
Tell us.
Friday, June 6th.
Yeah.
It's our first time to work with our friends at the Ross Art Museum
Yeah.
from OWU. So you should come, and they're going to join us in a preschool story time. That's 10:30 to 11, Friday, June 6th. But be there. It's going to introduce us to maybe some new art, learn a little bit together. We're really excited. And of course, that day we'll follow up in the afternoon with farm animals. Bring the Farm to
Oh
You
my
is
gosh,
coming to Orange
that program
Branch.
is insane. I think last time it had like 800 people at it. So just be prepared
Yes.
to be patient when you park.
Yes, please. Our staff are doing their best to get you in. And keep an eye out for each other. We've never had an incident because you all are being really careful,
That's
but
right.
it never hurts to remind you. Watch the kids when you're driving. Let's do a safety tip here.
Yes, love that.
All right. Well, we've got to go. This has been a wonderful show. Thank you, Prosecutor
Thanks for
Melissa
having
Schiffel,
me.
for joining us. Molly, as always.
Nicole,
thank
love
you
being
so
here
much.
with you.
Mark, always a pleasure.
Salute.
And until next week, we'll see you in the stacks.